Hi learners, this is Coach Hogarth. I want to show you a little bit about cutting with linoleum. This is an easy cut, real soft rubber linoleum. So we're going to talk about some safety guidelines and basically how to cut. This is a very small piece, so you need to be extra aware of these safety guidelines because it's easy to ignore them because you think it's not going to be important because it's a small piece. So the first thing you need to do is have your idea or your image drawn onto your piece of linoleum. A Sharpie marker or a pencil works pretty good. Notice I'm not keeping that line that thin. What you have to be aware of is that what you cut away won't be printing. What you leave when you're printing, what you leave when you cut is what makes your mark or your print. So I'm going to make a silly little face here. Not a lot of detail, nice big fat lines. That's the first thing. Second thing is you're going to be using this kind of a cutter. These are basically knives. Notice here it has a nice strong V shape. This is the blade that you need. This is a number 6 blade. So this is a good blade for this rubber and the amount of detail you'll be using on this project. Now, when you cut, again, remember this is a knife. So if I were to cut like this, holding the linoleum or the rubber, and I slipped, I would cut my finger. So you always want to make sure your fingers are back here and you're not cutting towards any of your body parts. That's your finger, that's your hand, that's your arm, or your heart. Okay, so you don't want to cut right towards your heart holding it like this. Open heart surgery, we don't have the facilities for that at this school, so we want to do that at the hospital. Okay, and with somebody who knows what they're doing. So the first thing you want to do is this is kind of soft rubber. So you want to think about swimming. You want to dive in the pool and then come up for air and swim across the top. Okay, so I'm going to start here. I'm going to dive in the pool. I dive down and then I come up for air. Notice these part of the blades, the sides, never go under the water. Okay, or linoleum in this case. And now I'm swimming across the top, and it's tempting to try to hold here, but you don't want to do that. Notice my fingers are back here at all times, and I'm just turning the linoleum. I'm trying not to cut off any of that black. Okay, that's what we want to leave. So I got to the eye and I want to, or the mouth, and I want to quit. So the first thing, I'm going to come back up here and hit the eye, and notice I'm turning the linoleum. I'm not trying to turn. If I turn my arm, then I come towards my fingers. If I turn the linoleum very slowly, it takes a lot of concentration to do this, a little bit at a time. And you don't have to do it all at one time. Pick those little grubbies off. You don't have to do it all at one time with one strip. It's not like peeling an apple with one strip. Now, you have to kind of look at what's carved away, what you've made, the hole you've made or the indent you've made. That's going to be the white part of your paper. So you want to keep that kind of clean. And then I pick these off. And now I'm going to very carefully work my mouth. So I stop there. Doesn't all have to be one stroke. And I'm going to come down, and I want that to be a curve. So I'm going to turn it. Oops. Turn it. See how I turned it? Let's try it again and see if I can keep my fingers away this time. Turn it. Use your elbow. Turn the linoleum. And up there. So what, now there's some stuff left here that I need to carve away. You don't have to go very deep. You're not poking holes in this. You're just carving a layer away. You don't have to go very deep. You don't want to make a hole in it. You're not digging to China. You're just kind of going to Barberton. A little bit, carving a little bit away at a time, moving around. Now, this is, as I work, this is not an easy thing to do because it's kind of a new way of making art. Now, here's a little itty bitty alleyway I need to get through. There, I made it. And then I can go deeper into the swimming pool, under the water, around the corner, and stop. Now I have to come back up here, keeping my fingers out of the way. And there's a little space that I missed here. I want to be really aware of what I leave up because that will print. Come around the corner. So when you're doing this, you have to concentrate a lot. And talking distracts you from safety. So here's my rule. Cut away from your body at all times. The other rule is that if somebody at your table is working on a piece of linoleum, no one at that table can talk. So when you have the knife, you're not allowed to talk, but also all the other people at your table have to be quiet. Okay? That keeps everyone safe because the person that is cutting might be the only one at your table, but they're going to be distracted by the whole conversation going on around you. So if at your table one person is cutting with a linoleum cutter, which is what these are, no one at that table talks. Okay? Now, this does not take very long, so it's not going to be a long time of brutal silence. It's just a few minutes, and we want to keep everyone's fingers intact. Okay? So, now here's a mistake a lot of people make is they get to this spot. Now I have everything cut away. See, that didn't take very long. And I'm studying and making sure everything is nice and tidy. Because this is unforgiving. What you leave prints. That's a square right there. I want to make that a round, kind of shape that a little better. There, that's better. You have to cut this away too. So you're cutting away anything that's not black. So now I have to cut out here. If I didn't do that, all I would have is eyes and a mouth. I want that circle left. Okay, so you're cutting around. Okay, pick it up and go back. Now the edges are a little hard to trim off. You just kind of have to work the edge. See, your knife slides away. And you got to pick at it. Okay, it takes a minute to get those edges. So this is linoleum cutting, and you'll be doing this in a couple different classes with me, and I think Coach Pringle might be doing it too, so he might be showing you this video. So I'm going to be really neat and tidy. Just because you're not in art doesn't mean you shouldn't strive for beauty and excellence, okay? Because I'm going to be looking at these too. All right, and this will be nice because then when we do linoleum printing in art, if you do this in engineering first, you'll be ready to go. So see this edge that's left up? I want to kind of turn and cut, and it's a little awkward and it kind of is scrappily. You're fighting it a little bit, okay? And just pick at it and get it off, okay? Now, see these little scrappy guys? All these little scrappy doos, goobers, whatever you want to call them. Keep them in a pile near you. When it's time to clean up, they're all in a pile, and you want to brush them off the table. Let's watch, follow me. Brush them off the table. Not in onto the floor. I don't know if the camera's on me or not. Into your hand, carefully. Into your hand. Take them to the trash can and throw them away. Okay? Have fun.